wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Today I will explain about my research proposal, final exam from subject English Language Teaching Research. Before I start, I will introduce myself. My name is Natasya. You can call me Tasya. I'm from English Education Department, University of Maritime Raja Ali Haji. I am 6th semester. Okay everyone. I will explain about my research proposal. Subject English Language Teaching Research, and my title is the use of jigsaw method implemented to develop better learning activity for improving reading competence in SMP Negeri 2 Kundur. Alright, in this research proposal and 3 chapters. Chapter 1 is Introduction, Research Background, Problem Formulation, Problem Limitation, Research Objective, Research Benefits, and Definition of Terms. And Chapter 2, Review of Related Literature, Learning Activity, Jigsaw Method, Reading Competence, Theoretical Framework. And Chapter 3, Research Methodology. Research methodology, research method, research setting, research participant, research instrument, and research procedure. And the last, conclusion. Alright, and the first is background of study. English as foreign language in Indonesia is taught from elementary school up to university level. English is taught as the local content at elementary school, as the compulsory subject at junior high school, and as the complementary subject at university. One cooperative learning method is jigsaw technique. It is function to create the class to be more student-centered. In this respect, almost of the students are more active. The teacher role is not only as an instructor but also as a facilitator. Therefore, it uses communicative approach. However, jigsaw technique has one important difference, that is every single student teaches something. This means that jigsaw technique is not only to make the students interact and cooperate with the other friends as well, in which clever learner in their group to master the subject because the class divided into groups, but also to make every single student take responsible to teach each other. Because each student must learn a different pitch of material concerning a rule of picture which will complete a task. Alright, problem formulation. The research is conducted to answer the question, how is the use of jigsaw method implemented to develop better learning activity for improving reading competence in students junior high school in SMP Negeri 2 Kundur? Alright, move to the problem limitation. The research will be limited on the use of jigsaw method to encourage better learning activity for improving reading competence in SMP Negeri 2 Kundur. Jigsaw method is a method that deals with reading. Jigsaw is chosen to stimulate the students to take part in learning teaching process so that they can achieve their learning goals. Alright, research objective. The research was intended to examine the process of how the use of jigsaw method implemented to develop better learning activity for improving reading competence in SMP Negeri 2 Kundur. Okay, definition of terms. The first one, jigsaw method. It means that jigsaw is an appropriate method to learn and teach reading. In this study, Jigsaw means a method which improves students' learning activity through the material and process of learning. And two, learning activity. According to European Commission 2006, learning activities are any activities of an individual organized with the intention to improve his or her knowledge, skills, and competence. The effective learning activity can be designed as an active learning. And three, reading competence. To be able to interpret the meaning fluently, people should have reading competence. In this research, students' reading competence refers to ability of students to understand the information in the text. Alright, everyone. Okay, everyone. Move on to the chapter 3, research methodology. Research methodology. And the first one, research method. The researchers employed classroom action research or CAR. It is because CAR deals with short-term research and the result can be applied directly in the classroom. The classroom action research include four stages. First, plan, second, action, third, observation, and fourth, reflection. Alright, planning. In this research, CAR was employed to solve a problem found in junior high school. Diagnosing the problem was conducted in order to find the appropriate solution. Alright, acting. The learning teaching process was divided into three parts: pre-activity, with activity, and post-activity. Jigsaw method was implemented in this activity, which was divided into three sections: home group section, expert group section 2. Alright, observing. The researcher observed the implementation of Jigsaw method by using file notes and observation checklists, which focus on students' learning activity based on Jigsaw method to see the better learning activity development. The researcher also used test which was designed in a form of multiple choice to see the improvement of students' reading competence after the action was implemented. Besides, the research used questionnaire to see students' perspective whether or not Jigsaw method develop better learning activity and improve students' reading competence. Alright, reflection. The reflection of every cycle was made by using the file notes, the observation checklist, the questionnaire, and the test. Firstly, the research considered some solutions to solve the problems in every cycle in order to make improvement in the next cycle. And then the researcher would advice in making the learning activity and lesson plan. Alright, move on to the research setting. The research is conducted in SMP Negeri 2 Kundur. It is located at Jalan Jenderal Ahmad Yani, Tanjung Batu. In this research, the researcher want to conduct 2 cycles for 2 meetings. Each cycle consists of planning, acting, observing, and reflecting. Alright, everyone, move on to the research participant. The participants are the students of class 7B in 2019 or 2020 academic year. There are 26 students who consist of 8 girls and 18 boys. The researcher found that the students needed more learning activities, especially for improving reading competence. Alright, next is a research instrument. And the first, interview. The interview aimed to get the clarification and the peer information from the teacher as a preliminary study. In the interview, the researcher asked several questions related to class situation, students' learning activity, students' reading competence, test, curriculum, syllabus, and lesson plan form. 2. Field notes. In this research, the researcher would use field notes to describe the situation of the class during the research implementation. The research would note the important things occurred in the class, students' learning activity, student situation in the class, difficulty found, things that work well, and things that should be improved. And 3. Observation checklist. In this research, the items were the statements about the learning teaching process observation. The statements consisted of students' learning activity in the process of learning and teaching using implemented jigsaw method. In this research, the researcher designed the observation checklist using semantic differential. And 4. Questionnaire. In this research, the researcher would distribute the questionnaires to all students of Class 7B SMP Negeri 2 Kondur, Jalan Jenderal Ahmad Yani, Tanjung Batu. After the implementation of jigsaw method, in could develop better learning activity for improving reading competence. The researcher developed the questionnaire into 2 major topics: students' learning activity and students' reading competence. Questions 1 until 8 were related to students' learning activity, and the statements of the students' learning activity were based on the learning activity jigsaw method. Next questions 9 until 16 were related to students' reading competence after the implementation of jigsaw method. And the last, test. This instrument was used to measure students' progresses in their reading competence after the action research. It would be conducted before and after the action research. From the test, the researcher would know the improvement of reading competence before and after the jigsaw method implementation. The test was in a form of multiple choice. Move on to the research procedure. There were 8 steps in conducting this classroom action research. They were: first, asking permission from the school principal, and 2, conducting the preliminary study, and 3, finding the problems and planning for the action, and 4, planning, 5, acting, 6, observing, 7, reflecting, 8, success of the research. Alright, everyone, the conclusion in this research proposal is the researcher was conducted in order to implement the study of using jigsaw method to develop better learning activity for improving reading competence for students of class 7B in SMP Negeri 2 Kondur, Jalan Jenderal Ahmad Yani, Tanjung Batu. The researcher made a problem formulation, which was how is the use of jigsaw method implemented to develop better learning activity for improving reading competence in SMP Negeri 2 Kunming. The researcher instruments in this research uh, were interview, observation, checklist, field notes, questionnaire, and tests. The researcher was being the first observed in this research. The researcher was being helped by a teacher who has experience in using jigsaw method as the second observer. The researcher was also being helped by the teacher to implement jigsaw method. Besides, the researcher asked the English teacher for doing the interview before the researcher conducting the research. Alright everyone, thank you for attention. Thank you for watching this video. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.